Question number 5, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he have confidence in all his ministers?
Mr. Speaker.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister, how can he have confidence in the Minister for Immigration who seriously misleads the public about arrival figures when 93,889 non-New Zealand citizens arrive here permanently in the past year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I reject the proposition of the member's question.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister then, why is his Minister of Immigration misleading the public regarding returning Kiwis when in the past year they numbered just over 30,000 compared to over 93,000 non-Kiwis?
The Right Honourable
Mr.
Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
of course, the Minister of Immigration normally talks to these matters in net numbers. What is the net difference? And if one looks at the 71,000, as I understand it, the bulk of the 71,000 net numbers are made up by either New Zealanders returning or not going, made up by people who are coming on international working holidays, or people coming to work in skilled and construction area. Mr. Speaker, of course, there are lots of people that come and go. Interestingly enough, the member might be surprised to know that the number of people who actually have residency in New Zealand is lower than when his leader was Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Supplementary.
Order. Order. Order.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister, does he stand by his Minister of Immigration's stance on capping immigration numbers as being xenophobic when many Kiwis are being pushed out of the job and housing market because low-skilled migrants are driving down wages and adding pressure on the housing prices in Auckland?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, if one looks at the net migration numbers in New Zealand, as I said earlier, they're made up in a number of different areas. Firstly, we certainly wouldn't want to stop Kiwis who are returning to New Zealand, who abandoned ship after the terrible years of the Clark government, or during the terrible years, and chose Australia from coming home. We certainly wouldn't want to stop Australians who are free to come over here at any time. We wouldn't want to stop people who come as part of our treaties like Samoa and the likes. We wouldn't want to stop people who come with the skills category we need in areas like construction or agriculture that we see. We wouldn't want to stop students who come to New Zealand who form a big part of the thing. We wouldn't want to stop people who come on working holiday programs, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I think New Zealand is a far better and richer country for having migration in the way that we do. Yes, that puts some pressure on the system and we just simply need to fund that or build more houses.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Speaker. To the Prime Minister, how can he have confidence in his Minister of Finance when he was warned by Treasury in December last year that migrant workers are driving down wages and that, quote, the increasing flow of younger and low-skilled migrants may be contributing to a lack of employment opportunities for local workers, end of quote?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it's fair to say the government doesn't always accept Treasury advice, but interestingly enough, if you look at, for instance, workers that have come under the RSE scheme, who I think actually most New Zealand companies who have been involved in would say they're invaluable in areas like our viticulture and horticulture sector, the government has been interested in trying to see whether that will work for local workers and has been trialling domestic RSE schemes. It's actually more challenging than the member might think to find those workers.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister then. How can he have confidence in his Minister of Housing, who is not only failing the housing needs of Auckland citizens, but is also failing to keep up with his Minister of Immigration, who is busy pumping an extra 34,000 migrants into Auckland each year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, by any measure, the Minister of Housing is doing a tremendous job. Yes, of course it's a challenge, but he has undertaken far more reforms than any other Minister of Housing. And yes, it's true that New Zealand is a popular destination. Yes, it's true we've got some of the lowest interest rates this country has seen in over 60 years. Yes, it's true consumer confidence is high and business confidence is high. Yes, it's true, New Zealand is a desired destination for people to come to, but I think that's a sign of success. I know the member wants to be a little down in the mouth about it, but when he was the mayor of Carterton, he would have welcomed people coming into Carterton, setting up home. In fact, I actually vaguely remember...
Order. I know the question was particularly long, so I gave the Prime Minister some latitude, but the answer is certainly long enough. We move to question number 6.